Meanwhile, it's in the Chinese factory. 700 bags is coming off the line. Some of us like to wait till your numbers match the wisdom.
Which race of people play God the most?
The Podical Sons.
What's up, y'all? I am Marvelous.
And I'm not your average Joseph.
And we are the Podical Sons. This show is hilariously inappropriate but intellectual beyond beliefs.
Yes, sir.
So let's start the show. Like, comment, subscribe, all the above, all streaming platforms possible. Podical Sons podcast. Excuse me, it's 420. Cut me some slack.
Cut some slack.
Yes, all streaming platforms possible, and you can see his face on Spotify and YouTube and stuff as well. And yes, let's get it popping. Start the show. How you feeling today, man?
I'm good. Well rested. This was a restful weekend. I didn't really do much. I went to Toronto on, I think, the Saturday.
Yeah.
In the later on in the evening, and that was pretty much it. Pretty chill weekend. Pretty chill weekend. How about you?
Good. Weekend was good.
Next
How
weekend
was your week?
Festivities?
Yeah. How was
Wind it down. Week was good.
Week was good.
Yeah, week was good.
What brought you joy this week? I'll wrap all my shit in when. Let me get the joy moment.
So last month, we set a record for sales. So we got bonuses that last week.
Okay.
And so that was pretty cool.
You ain't offered to buy me no cocaine, no.
It was
like
not
a ketamine bag or nothing like that.
It was that type of bonus. If we can get Uber cocaine through Uber Eats.
I mean, you make it seem like it's hot.
I mean, if we can get it through Uber Eats, we might be able to use it.
No, we might have to use Uber for one location to another location, and that be that. For me, yeah, like week was good. Week was good for most part of stuff, whatever. For like, I want to say pretty much going good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the festivities and everything like that. So that's part of the joy that what brought me joy this week was like, I guess kind of winding down and stuff, whatever.
Right.
To it, because when I was talking to one of my homeboys and stuff, whatever, he was saying like, yo, we haven't celebrated, or no one hasn't celebrated me, like even like in a dinner or a party aspect.
Yeah.
Since my 23rd birthday.
Since your 23rd.
And it was an ex-girlfriend of mine and stuff, whatever, that threw it up and everything like that, whatever. Yeah, it was...
Right.
It was surreal, even that moment. So check it. This is exactly how I always replay and stuff in my head. Like, we went to... I can't remember the restaurant we went to. Say whatever restaurant we went to and everything like that, whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be me and my woman at the time, Ben.
Okay.
And his woman and stuff at the time and shit like that, whatever, right? So when we go in a restaurant and stuff, whatever, I'm like, yo, table for 4. Because they're like, oh, we're going to just go out for get some food and everything. So I'm like, I bet. So I'm like, table for 4. And I went first to the seater. So she's like, oh, it's going to be about 40, 45 minutes and stuff for the wait. Hope you don't mind and stuff, whatever. It's Friday, it's busy.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. Turn around, like, yo, she had 40, 45 minutes. Then I turn back around. She's like, right this way. Heifer. You said 45 minutes just a while ago.
Yeah.
But when I have my head turned, they look like, no. Party for Marvin, whatever, right? So I'm looking like, what? So we walking and shit like that now. Then when we walk out some more, then I see like HL, I see like cool kids. I see, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit. I'm like, what y'all doing here? They're like, yo, surprise. I was like, oh.
Right.
And it caught me off guard and stuff. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, yo, this is dope, whatever, right? And I was like, yo, when he was telling me about that, I was like, damn, I actually didn't low-key forget about it. But like, it was just like, yeah, he's like, see, you do have a problem with celebrating yourself. You don't even remember the moment when we do celebrate you and everything. So I was like, yeah. But like I said, like slowly but surely, I've been working on those things and stuff, whatever. Like, you know better, you do better and everything like that. I wanted to say a little subliminal shot to the peoples that, saw my story about me in the pool with my Speedo as a young kid. all y'all fuckers are pedophiles, that y'all saw the photo, y'all like the photo. No, I'll bring y'all to the Fed. No, just joking. People look like, oh, I did like a kid photo with him in the Speedos. Perverts. No, but slowly but surely, like I think just posting those things is kind of making everything kind of so surreal.
Yeah.
That like, wow, I'm actually getting ready. I'm looking forward to turn 40, actually.
Nice.
I'm looking real forward to turn 40 and everything and stuff. Again, I think I don't know what the significance is deep down inside between like 39 and 40 and stuff, whatever to me, because I think mentally I've probably already been here.
Right.
But I think when the label was there, stuff, whatever, I thought for a person like myself, I was over like certain type of labels and titles.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a, I don't know, kind of like an acceptance from like the 40 plus people will kind of like deem me worthy. Now I'm not looking for the approval, but it's kind of like, what do you know? You're a kid. You're in your 30s and shit like that, whatever, right?
Right.
And then now, like with the 40 vibe and stuff, whatever, it's like, see it. Welcome. Pull up a chair. Can we get you something? I'm like, now you fuckers want to cater to me? I've been spitting the same knowledge in bars and stuff, whatever, since like early 30s. You didn't recognize me.
Yeah.
Now, because I'm here in the 40s zone, you're looking like, this is right where you need to be. So I'm like, either was I ahead of my time? Or you just didn't give a fuck about like respect for me.
No. Some of us like to wait till your numbers match the wisdom.
That's crazy.
Yeah, some of us don't trust the wisdom right now because you could have heard it from somebody else, right? So yeah, it's like,
so what is that?
Yeah.
But I learned it.
Yeah. We know.
But I learned
we
it.
want to know that you pass a certain age. There's a milestone. Certain things that you achieve with milestones, Marv. You can't just get it off the cereal box.
Anyway, that's wild.
Can't just get it off the cereal box, Marv. Saying, I mean, we 40. We know you've been through some things. We've been through some things. Welcome to the club.
I do say this. I always said this and stuff, whatever. Shout out to Bruno Mars and stuff. One day you hear this podcast and stuff, whatever, and let this bar be to you. But like, you young wild girls would definitely be the death of me, man. So I always looked at it and stuff as where, and I had younger women.
Yeah.
Like they were coming to me and stuff like, even like dating purposes and stuff, were just like just to talk, and then like trying to, and I'm like, I don't really date younger women like that.
Right.
I'm like, I had a few relationships with women that are a little bit younger than me, but they didn't work out, so they kind of tarnished your name and stuff and everything. But I look at the stuff as where I'm not looking more so at their age,
right,
or the number to match.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking more forward to like the energy and like the actions and the mental the human behavior aspect and stuff, whatever. So I look at it stuff as where I wouldn't want nobody who, let's say, well, no, I'm 40 now, but let's say, for example, if I was in my mid 30s, I wouldn't mentally want to date somebody who thinks like they're under the age of 30 with a mindset and stuff like that. Because I feel like as a person, you've probably been through a bad relationship.
Right.
It didn't work out and stuff, whatever. Now, what did you learn from it at 30 if you're dating and stuff, whatever, right? Because some people and stuff, they have their forever relationships. Like, let's say something like you and stuff, whatever. You've been with your woman for so long. So that equation will never be applicable to you.
Right.
Because you've been with somebody for so long and stuff, whatever. It's not like you had a single period and stuff where, like, say, for example, I got married in my 20s.
Right.
Then I didn't. Then I wasn't and stuff, whatever, when in my mid 30s. So now to date a woman and stuff kind of younger than me and stuff, whatever, I feel like she would have to be like mentally not self-absorbed, but like less self-centered and more self-aware.
Okay.
And I think a lot of times and stuff, it takes for some people like their self-awareness and stuff for it to kind of show up like in their like mid 30s.
I was gonna say it takes some time for them to get past a certain age, Marv.
I want to say it's a trauma mark though. It's a trauma mark because I look at it stuff as like, yo, they could have had some kind of trauma they dealt with, like let's say childhood or early teens.
Yeah.
To like maybe now in their 20s, they never dealt with it, whatever. But let's say they're probably like, you know what? I've been dealing with this hurt or living with this hurt for so long. I never rectified it, whatever.
Right.
Let me try this therapy thing. Or let me try talking about it with some other people and stuff like that, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And it can come to something where like, it's not really just the mindset. It's just the mindset kind of the thing would be like, yo, I want to get right because I met some women who have some trauma from like sexual assault,
Right.
right? And things like that happen to them in their teenage years.
Right.
And some of them are like 30s and 40s and still never dealt with it.
No.
So now if you have somebody and stuff, whatever, like in their 20s have dealt with something that happened to them in their teenage years.
Yeah.
And everything, like, it's a hand clap because again, there's some 40-year-old people that never dealt with that trauma yet.
It's a hand clap. It's a hand clap. It's a hand clap.
Yeah, man. So it's not an age, man. Don't listen to.
I don't know if I can trust it or if she's just telling me.
Oh, wow.
Circle back in your 30s.
Oh, shit. Circle back. What is she, a shark?
Circle back in your 30s.
Jaws?
Yeah,
Did it? I'm 30 now?
Yes.
Did it? 35?
Try somebody closer to you. Y'all go through that trauma together.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, this guy's smooth. Yo, he came with the damn guillotine today. Let's get to the damn questions, the polls. Let's check to the polls, man.
Polls.
First poll of the week: are journalists still needed today? Let me say something.
Yes.
Real quick.
Right.
Before we start these polls, I pulled up the results of these polls today.
Okay.
So they were done early in the week, posted on Monday, posted on Thursday.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it.
Right.
I pulled it up a little earlier today. I looked at it like, these people are fucking liars. So that's back to these polls. First poll of the week.
Right.
Are journalists still needed today? What do you think the polls got?
They said yes.
82% said yes.
I told you they're going to say yes.
Yo, these liars. The liars.
I told you they're going to say
liars. This is liars. And they're going to go like, why are we liars? Why are we liars? There's journalists on the news. You guys do not watch the news. How could you say are journalists still needed?
I'm telling you, Marv, the definition of journalist has changed for them.
There's the reality. There's the truth. And then there's their own reality.
Yes, where we discussed last week that their own reality to them is their truth.
This is stupid. This is different. I'm not gonna call nobody's children stupid, but this is different. All right. So 82% said
82%
said journalists.
Damn, I didn't think it was gonna be that.
I didn't think it was gonna be that.
I think they were gonna say yes, but I didn't think it was gonna be 82%.
World's full of liars, smooth. All right. Next poll. Once again, another lie.
All right. This poll
said, does the height of a person determine respect? What do you think the people polled?
Yes.
No, they put no. 88% said no, the height of the person does not determine.
We got a lot of short followers.
We got a lot of liars.
We got a lot of short followers.
No. I can say
Big up their chest. Big up your chest.
Big up your chest, short kings.
Big up your chest, short kings and mighty midget mafia followers.
Here's the thing. And I said this to one of my homeboys and stuff that I spoke to during the week, right? When he's like, yeah, what kind of question was that you poll, whatever, right? So I said to him and stuff, I said, he's at 5'10", 5'11", height-wise, whatever, right?
Okay.
I said, you're walking with your back turned, like you're walking towards your car.
Yeah.
You see a police officer who's standing at 5'5" in full uniform with a hat and everything, like, hey, buddy, where are you going? And then his first answer was like, fuck is wrong with this midget? I was like, height. And he's like, oh, shit. I said, boss, it's always like that. So he has a brother now who is, I think he's 6'1".
Okay.
Right? And he's like, say he goes somewhere with his brother and like they don't know if his brother or something. Like, say women see him and everything like that. They're like, wow, he's tall. That's the first thing they say.
Yeah.
He's like, shit, height has something to do with respect.
Of
course.
100%.
For the people to say no and stuff, whatever. I was like, explain to me, you giants, what are you guys talking about? You must, like, was it I knew said? An imp standing on the giant shoulders because he must further than the giant.
Right.
I look at stuff, I think if you've only been a giant, you've only seen things at a tall set of view, that's one type of thing. Look at so many women and stuff, I want to say, would say no to a short king.
Right.
Right? I've had women that looked at me like, oh, I heard one chick say it one time, and I was like, damn. One of my homegirls and stuff was like, oh, he cute. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he cute and everything like that. So my friend's like, yeah. She's like, so why he's single? Like, so she's like, I don't know. So he's like, how tall is he? The chick said, how tall is he? So she's like, how tall are you, Mark? So like 5'6". So the girl's eyes were like this it was on the It was on the I think
It was a messenger.
it was I think a messenger or webcam or some shit like that at the time. And Skype.
Skype.
It was on
okay.
Skype when people used to Skype from their phones or whatever, right?
Right.
Homegirl like this, she's like, "Oh, you 5'7"?" And then her eyeballs buzzed out, and I'm looking like, "What's wrong with being 5'7"? She's like, "No, you short though, you know."
Yeah.
I'm like, "How tall are you?" She's like 5'5". She said, "Yeah, but I wear a lot of heels." I'm like, you know what? And then now those same women and stuff are like, height is not really an issue now.
Right. What would you think garnished Napoleon his respect?
Power.
All right.
Power. I believe I think when you have a level of like power and authority, it kind of supersedes certain type of things.
Right.
And I want to say certain people like whether I believe it's a natural thing when you're capable of power.
Right.
It's like maybe like there's subtle flexes and then there's the heavy flexes, whatever, right? Because I want to say there's a few people that Napoleon and stuff probably had like banished, exiled, jailed, or X, Y, and Z and stuff in his time.
Yeah.
And he could do it because he can do it.
Right.
Right. I feel like if you minus the power and stuff like that, whatever, and you just have this individual stuff where I want to say they're in the process of gaining merit and everything, you get a different kind of energy from them.
Right.
So let's say a Harvard student would have a different energy from a Harvard alumni.
Okay.
Because the student still has to go through the trenches and everything like that. So humility might still be there and stuff. But compared to like, you've done it now, whatever. So it's kind of like, ha, 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 ha.
Right.
And I think with Napoleon and his time and stuff, whatever, but I don't even think Napoleon was even that tall.
No. He was
like,
he was like 5'6".
Yeah, he was like 5'6".
5'6", 5'7".
But they just wrote him off like he was like, mighty, like straight Mighty Midget Mafia. Like 5'7" is like your cutoff for like Mighty Midget Mafia or whatever, right? But they made it seem like he was like 5 foot.
Nah, he's like 5'6", 5'7". But again, it's because the reason why I asked is because when they say you have an Napoleon complex, it's usually said to somebody who's short. It's never said to somebody who has
5'6".
it never says to somebody who has height. That person has a Napoleon complex. So it's like they respected him,
Or
but they still had that notion that this man's short and he talking too big for his britches.
Yeah, I think that's what my problem is apparently and stuff. I said that, like I was telling you, like it was something and stuff where I think for myself, I try to stand on as much as the truth that I know, like the overall like undeniable truth aspect, not a reality.
Right.
Because I look at stuff like, let's say if I was to live like some of these people out here and whatever, in my reality, I do no wrong. Right? I'm perfect in my reality and stuff, whatever, right? But then the overall truth to stuff is that, like, I might be an asshole. I might come off like this, or I might do this, whatever, right? So I think it encompasses stuff, a type of vibe for me where I'm not living past the truth. So if I'm saying something and stuff, it's more on the lines of like the overall truth.
Right.
I think the thing and stuff, or the kicker for most people and stuff is that it's the accountability aspect is what fucks people up. Like I look at it stuff as like, if I know I'm wrong,
right,
and then you showed me like these are the facts why you're wrong, I'm holding myself accountable. I'm like, oh shit, what the Napoleon thing we were just talking about. I'm like, I don't remember how tall Napoleon was. I remember they always spoke about it. Meanwhile, you're talking. I looked it up, 5'6".
Right.
You were right.
Right.
I let you know you were right.
Right.
And I just keep it pushing.
Right.
Some people want stuff, the accountability thing is like, no. I'm not wrong. I had a friend and stuff, even today, we were at the soup kitchen and shit like that. She's like, what? No, you could park during the holidays and stuff for everything. They're like, no, they changed it and stuff, whatever. Motherfucker backed out phone, looked impossible. I didn't know they changed it. Looked other places. I'm like, yo, chill, let it go.
Yeah.
But they're like, since when? I'm like, just stand corrected. Your mind has been changed because the facts are there.
Right.
They're still trying to prove it and stuff. I'm like, no, in your own reality, you're never wrong.
Right.
You're perfect.
Yeah.
And I think the thing and stuff is that when I say things, I'm not standing on the side of perfect. I'm standing on like, oh, but the truth is, and it's up to that individual to look at stuff as like the accountability aspect and stuff like, You are now presented with the truth.
Right.
You were probably wrong after the truth were presented to you and stuff, whatever. I don't live in your reality. I stand on the side of the truth. Don't get mad at me because the facts are the facts.
Right. Yeah.
I'm too small to be talking that tall. But if I was tall enough and everything like that, they have to hug that, bro.
Grow up, buddy.
You
Grow up.
piece of shit.
Grow up.
I've been trying. They told me to drink milk. I didn't get that far.
No, drink milk.
They told me to do certain type of stretches.
Something.
I
Do something.
don't know. The next thing is stuff is the shin splint. The shin implants.
The shin splint. The shin splints.
Oh boy. So height means some shit. What would you guys think and stuff whatever? Like, yo, you don't believe me? Yo. I even said this to like a lady that said height doesn't mean anything and stuff. So I said, what if your man and stuff was a little bit shorter than you? You guys get into an argument, whatever. She's like, oh, definitely disrespect him. And I said, okay, so case in point.
Yeah.
And then she's like, fuck you. I'm like, again, I'm standing on the truth of how much I know of the truth. I'm like, you know, in the heart of hearts, you can say a lot of pretty words. That's what I said. Like when I looked at these polls and stuff and I was pulling them up, I was like, I was looking at screenshots. I was like, fires.
Yeah.
All right. What do you want to talk about in the world? There's not too much. I honestly, let's say this. The rhetoric, I believe, should stop around these friggin' school shootings and stuff like that. Like, I think, like we were talking about with the media and everything and the news about like, you know, the depression and the anxieties and stuff like that, whatever. The school shooting that happened in Dallas and a year ago, that same school had a school shooting and stuff like that, whatever.
Right.
That's crazy. So thoughts and prayers to the parents and the families and stuff affected by that. And then even with the Florida State one that just popped off and stuff like a few days ago.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's beyond sad. Where could you imagine and stuff, whatever, where you're paying to be the best version of yourself to kind of get where you need to be and stuff in life, or your parents are making this happen and stuff for you, to know for a fact that like you're now have to duck and run and stuff, whatever, on somebody you never even met, seen, or had no kind of interaction and stuff with, but you're just part of the target.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's a different kind of vibe. Like to the people who got killed, I was looking at like, what if they never really had an interaction and stuff with this shooter and everything like that, right?
And chances are they didn't. You know, it's one thing to come from a realm where you can expect anything to pop off at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have your wits about you, and you kind of have your guard about you, and you kind of know how to move in certain situations and in certain areas. But to be totally fresh from that whole type of perspective,
Mm-hmm.
then to be put in a situation like that, I don't know, like, I don't even know how do you handle that. How, like, what is the thought process? Right? Because even if it just, you know, like last night we were talking about with the whole stampede thing. You know what I mean? You see
with black people running and white people running?
Right. Like,
yeah.
Us as black people, we've been through some things, so we can recognize some things when it goes down, right? So we know exactly how to move in certain situations. But, you know, some people who have been trampled because they just have no clue what to do in a situation like that when it pops off. And they just end up with that whole deer in the headlights situation where they're just staring into oblivion. No, you got to get out the way. Their mind is not even kicking in to say what should be the next move.
Well, you're not wrong. Fight or flight is just a hell of a thing.
It's a hell of a thing.
Right?
It is a hell of a
say,
thing.
like, it's one thing where you've been in traumatic situations. Like I look at it as of his work. Black people have been through a lot of traumatic situations, and not even to make this on a racial level,
Right.
but the amount of traumas, let's say, like the drive-by shootings, this type of shooting, this kind of movement, or this person got shot at a party, that's not a normal life.
No.
We've found a way to normalize that.
Right.
The normal life would be like not to go through a life with those type of things. Like maybe, if one event like that occurs and stuff and everything, that might be a quote unquote normal life, consider the fact how many guns are in like the communities and in the world today. But let's say a Caucasian person and stuff who had lived a life with no interaction and stuff until they probably went to a club in their mid-20s and they probably heard a gunshot go off and everything like that. I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame them because that's normally how you're supposed to live a life. Right? But then you have the black folk and stuff that are like for me, let's say this. I want to say 10. At age 10, I've witnessed somebody I know die from a drive-by shooting.
Right.
That's not normal.
No, it's not normal at all.
You know what I'm saying? Then like at age 12, remember the story I told you where like, they were chasing a guy by me. And I saw bullets whiz past me. That's not normal.
No.
Right? So now for me to be in a situation where I'm at Young Street and stuff, whatever, like one of the caravan weekends and everything, and like a dude died, got shot there and stuff like that. When I saw the crowd stuff like running dispersed like all types of directions, I'm trying to be mindful about it because I've had even more previous situations and stuff with like crowds and gunplay and everything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For people and stuff that's like, oh my gosh, never happened to me. Congratulations, you lived a more healthier life than I did. So I don't really blame you for your reaction time and stuff. My fight or flight thing is more like I need to fight to survive.
Right.
And their shit's looking like just run.
Right.
Same thing going back to the bear story.
Yeah.
When we were saying something like, yo, you're sleeping at a campsite, you wake up, it's a big ass Kodiak bear.
Yeah.
Right there nudging you, and then it bites you, then it growl at you yet, whatever. You're gonna wake up and just start running? Like you're discombobulated already.
Yeah, well, in a situation like that, I'm screwed in a situation like that because I have no experience whatsoever. None.
That's normal. You don't live in the woods.
That's normal.
You live in the city.
That's
Congrats. Experiences help train people, right?
Yeah.
And I think and stuff, whatever, is where like it's a different experience where you're telling somebody you need to learn how to swim compared to like, this is what the survival rate for like being in this place is. You're like, yo, I just want to work, go to school, live, eat, play, and just mind my business. They're like, yeah, survival rate and stuff is just down. Like, could you imagine like, no shade to the people that might live in those cities and stuff, but like a high like death toll or body count, right?
Yeah.
I was here in the city of Toronto and stuff the other day where like the two young men that passed of, I think one was 18, one was 20 or 21, that got shot. For April, they're saying they're the 9th and 10th homicide of the year.
Mhm.
I was like, maybe I might be toxic or negative or what the hell, but I'm like, 10 since January sounds pretty damn good considering the fact that like
that's really good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking like, and then somebody's gonna look at something like 10 is still too much.
Yeah.
And it's experience in the situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just find it I'm just kind of over innocent people being caught in the fray of people in their feelings. Like if you're in your feelings, let's say there's one thing to say, all right, you don't like this guy. This guy did something particular to you, and then you had to do your justice.
Yeah.
Whatever, to this one person, and you left it, right? Compared to like, yo, you're just firing. Like I heard when one chick was talking about for the Florida State shooting, she's like, the guy had a shotgun at first. He was a little too far, so the shotgun shells didn't really penetrate so much.
Right.
But the people close enough, like, yo, was that a gun? Switch guns now to like more of a pistol type thing.
Yeah.
And shot somebody first and stuff like in like some scrubs, like a woman in like some scrubs.
Yeah.
And then when they saw that she went down, that's when the crowd starts running.
Mm.
Right? So they look like, oh yeah, the toy gun or something like that. What is this guy trying to do? But then when they saw the lady like, bullet hole and leak and fall and everything,
Yeah.
this is when they start, under fight or flight. Their thing was flight. And I'm just, like I said, like, to be just minding your business and stuff to get caught up in something like this, you're like, yo, what did I do? I know everybody will say, yo, God has his plan and stuff like that and everything for you, or your story and stuff like that. But I look at it stuff as like, I'm gonna look at that as stuff as this person was in an emotional state or in a fucked up mental capacity where instead of them going for whoever pissed them the fuck off,
Yeah.
they're just hurting everybody.
Sucks. It does suck, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you say? I mean, what's the story for those who are in like war torn situations? Because again, it's almost a similar thing where they didn't ask for it, they didn't ask to be in a situation like that, right?
Fair.
And those bullets, they're they hit targets indiscriminately. Those bombs hit targets indiscriminately, right? So I mean, when you put it in that perspective, it just imagine thank God, like it's a tariff war that's going on right now between Canada and US.
Instead of like a physical,
You know what I mean? Like a physical war, because first of all, I couldn't fathom an American killing a Canadian soldier, much less an innocent Canadian bystander being hit by a stray bullet. Because two governments want now to have their country be better than the other. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like it's insane when you think about it from the perspective of
like Russia, Ukraine.
Right. When you think about it, here's the school, these innocent people, whether they be in a school, whether they be in a hospital situation, who are losing their lives.
Let's think about the kids. The kids that are old enough to even vote, but the kids are just like, I'm just living the everyday life, current times and stuff, whatever, living my life, and now I have to be ducking, leaving my house. We're on the run. I might lose possible family members. And
I used to skip down the street going to school. Now I have to dodge right to go to school. Yeah, that's crazy.
I think for me that and you're absolutely right. I think the war torn places I look at is where their leaders don't value lives. And I say it like that because maybe it's just me, but we went from a time in human history where the king himself used to be on the battlefield.
Yes.
We have our leaders and stuff protected way from proximity of said place. There's no shade to Putin and everything like that. And people might be like, why are you not throwing shade to Putin? But I'm looking like Putin's in a high protected place in Russia.
Yeah.
And his Russian soldiers are doing this to like places in like Ukraine.
Yeah.
Right? Compared to like, if he was on the battlefield and shit, I bet you like, they probably try to, I don't say nuke it, but they probably try to like let it rain.
Yeah.
And then them as Russians and stuff, they need to protect their king.
Yeah.
Right? But then when this king is in one high tower way across from the actual battlefield, another one and stuff is over here getting money from in another country.
Yeah.
While you're still on the battlefield and everything like that, they're looking like, oh, well, these places and stuff, whatever, we lost these amount of soldiers, just those more soldiers over there and stuff like that. Like, you're playing with our lives.
That's it. That's all. Yeah.
We're just numbers to you guys.
We can sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can sit down and talk and discuss whether or not we should end this war or not. Like, we can sit down at the table and talk whether or not we should continue warring, or we should cease, or we should end it. Meanwhile, there's no table between those soldiers. It's just bullets flying back and forth.
I mean, you know how many videos I've seen since so far? I want to say certain blog places and stuff since Ukraine War was 2022.
Yeah.
from like 2022 February, right? Approximation. Like since then, I want to say like I've seen Russian soldiers kill Ukrainian soldiers killing Russian soldiers, and then just out there in the net and stuff for the and I'm like, we don't value human lives like that anymore.
We don't.
Because it's the fact that like one, the fact that people have a thing of murder porn,
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
Right. And to know for a fact that like once again, from the Ukrainian side, like, okay, these soldiers have now been lost and killed and everything. Like, you're just gonna send more lives, stuff, whatever, to replace the ones that were lost and everything. So that means you don't value human life.
And then when the dust settles and they decide to end it, and they're gonna carve up Ukraine, Russia's gonna get whatever it decided to get, or whatever's decided to get, and then Ukraine is gonna get whatever it's decided that they get. Neither is gonna get what they originally fought over for.
Mm.
So just like lives are being lost right now for nothing.
Sucks, man. I wanted to talk real quick about I don't want to stay too long on the tariffs because tariffs is always going to be here for now. Do you think that the Chinese factory workers could sell off their products in time to avoid a lot of these little tariff little cuts? Have you seen the DH app?
Oh,
So
no.
DH Gate. So this is DH Gate, whatever.
Right.
I'm showing smooth for purposes not to get sued, but basically and stuff, whatever is like, it's pretty much like, to me, it's just like the Temus and the Temus and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's I want to say there's like maybe 4 to 5 like major companies that operate on that type of level from China.
Right.
Yeah.
My thing and stuff is that you seen the ones on TikTok? So the Chinese factory workers and stuff, they're just saying like, oh, you can buy Birkin, you can buy these bags in here,
Yes.
and all that type of stuff without the label.
Right.
Still the same bag.
Still the same bag. Yeah.
Without the label for like not even a fraction of the cost. Like you probably saving like 80 to 90%
Yeah.
of the cost and everything like that, whatever, right? I'm like, you think they can pull it off? Because TikTok themselves seen some of these vendors
Right.
and killed their TikTok pages. So how would they get this mark known and stuff? Whatever, like, word of mouth through people who, like, if you know, then do you still think that you can move some of these products? Like, say your company is a Chinese company,
Yeah.
you guys have made Birkin bags and stuff like that and other things like that. Now with these tariffs, a lot of these shits have stopped and slowed the fuck down.
Yeah.
You can't move product like you used to be able to move product and stuff. You turn to the people or the streets, and now they're trying to block your way of even trying to turn to the people.
Yeah, and I think there's gonna be a lot of stock that's just gonna now just die on the wayside, because I think because the other part of that is now the secret's out, right? So people never had a problem with buying or owning knockoffs
Until they knew the truth.
Until they knew the actual truth, right? So now that they actually know the truth, it's gonna hurt a lot of designers as well. I heard a lot of designers.
I think a lot of Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and stuff, like certain type of places.
Right.
I think Gucci.
But they've made statements. Some have made statements.
Some companies have made statements and said like, no, but then most of these companies and stuff is like, yo, this is what they currently would sell.
Right.
And these are the old shit that we made and stuff, whatever. They just put the finalization on the product when they get there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Same thing like with the Teslas and all that type of stuff as well, right? So like a lot of finalization happens in that particular country.
Right.
Not majority of the make of it, whatever, right? Like even what you were saying and stuff, whatever, like most of the Hellcats are made here, but they were sold in America.
Yeah.
So I'm like, now that we know the truth now, or the truth is like blatant on the front page, do we keep buying like even the high end shit?
I think we're gonna see the pricing of the high end stuff come down.
These are the times now.
I think we're gonna start seeing that stuff come down.
We always knew like shit like, not to cut you, but we always knew shit like Nike and Jordan and everything is made in these other places.
Yeah.
And these companies and stuff always would like have a major factory. What is it? It was you used to work for, what is it?
Songwon,
Old
Dongwon
Navy?
City, or one of those. I can't remember what the cities
No.
in China where it's just textiles, where they just do textiles for all the major companies.
And then I have another city for like they do like hair shit.
Right.
And
Another one
and
that does
products and stuff
electronics.
for the, yeah, exactly.
So, but I think even with like the high end designers,
Mm.
I think there was still some sort of mystique and still the belief
That it
that there's
wasn't
some
happening.
artisan, that it wasn't a Chinese factory worker. It was an artisan in Italy hand stitching this thing one bag at a time, making one bag a
Like-
week, right? Meanwhile, it's in a Chinese factory. 700 bags is coming off the line in 1 hour. And you're getting one of those bags with the Gucci label on it or the Prada label on it or whatever the label is slapping on it after.
Shishi ni.
Now that they realize it's like, man, that bag didn't come from Italy. I know where it came from.
Right.
So you can't now try to sell me for $900. Maybe 500. Maybe.
How soon do you think the prices would drop? What now knowing what we know and stuff, whatever now, as like I want to say, as worldwide consumers of the internet. Are we saying like well, let's give it like 1 to 3 months? We'll say 3 to 6 months, a year,
I would say 6 months to a year.
6 to a year.
I think they have to figure out this. I think they have to, because they have to strategically do it too, right? Because at the end of the day, they can't just decrease the value right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's still going to be consumer profits, even though they're making hand over fist with the profits that they're already making from the $8 Chinese bag that's now got a $700 price tag on it,
Correct.
right? Their spending is probably matching close to the $800 price tag.
Right.
So now they got to decrease their spending before they can decrease the price of the bag.
I don't know. Like I've always wondered and stuff, right? But these times and stuff are a little bit different. Where I want to say, somebody explained to me, one of my high school teachers actually. He explained some about like some mini economics to us.
Right.
He's like, you kids will keep break your neck for these Jordans and stuff, whatever. That's why like the supply and demand and stuff will be kind of like, like the supply will be low, but the demand will be high as hell. So that's why these prices and stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
Now when they're sitting with like overstocks of stuff, whatever, they
Sale.
realize like, oh shit, we can't sell these Jordans and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to reduce the price of these bitches to still move product.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was looking at stuff, I was like, we've known this from time, but yet it's still, I don't think it really hit us in our pockets and stuff now, whatever, right? And that's so saying to myself, like, maybe because I was a high schooler at the time and I wasn't really like as a spending consumer adult.
Right.
Cause like there's a age range where they're saying like which set of adults spend a lot of money, whatever, right? Because let's say if you're going to senior citizen status and stuff, whatever, you're probably gonna handle more of your money. You're probably saving a lot more of your money.
Yeah.
You're not wasting, squandering that much. So you would be probably like a year on frivolous things. You might spend maybe 15 racks. Where like somebody in my generation, like frivolously, they might blow like 50.
Right.
Right. And shit hasn't really changed that much for it to say like, yo, these prices are just gonna fall on the wayside. Like, okay, look at Ye when he had his blowout. Scratch that. Ye always has a blowout.
Right.
But let's say when Ye had the thing where Adidas had to move his stock,
Yes.
those prices never came down.
No.
And like some of them and stuff, I looked at them like, okay, I can see where you guys are trying to like just swindle management, some sales and stuff like that. But I'm looking like, wake the fuck up, people. But a lot of people never flinch. And it's the same way, like thinking back like in the 2000s for like these Jordans and everything.
Right.
Now here we are like in the 2020s with this Ye situation and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think these people are gonna wake up. So when you're saying like you're optimistic like that, whatever, I was like, woo child. Like, yo, I seen this shit. Ain't shit really changed before.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see the change. Like, yo, let's say this. If I run into a Nordstrom, a Saks, Fifth Ave, or like, I'm cutting through,
Yeah.
I'll know what currently is still like, style and version and stuff like that, whatever, right? Like I want to say, I have to go to a particular store to see something like Chrome Heart or Palms Angels or something like that, kind of like really out my way.
Right.
So like I wouldn't really know, but then again, like I said, the Pradas and everything, those hit like the Saks and the Nordstroms and stuff like that. So it's kind of like in my eyesight or my shot. If I go in there or a whole rainful and they're saying like, hey, this Prada shirt was like whatever the fuck, say it's like $300.
Yeah.
Now that you know our secrets, this shirt is $35. You're talking my language. Other than that, you're talking shit.
It's gonna come down. It's gonna be by that $350 shirt will be about maybe $150. Two.
My last thing on the tariffs for now, for this week, is do you believe that the tariffs against like China would spark Asian hate again in America? Like when the pandemic came around,
Yeah.
when the world kind of changed to that degree,
Yeah.
Asian hate came up. Asian senior citizens were getting like hit and like, treated, and xenophobia became a hell of a word to kind of get used to in your vocab now.
Yeah.
Do you believe that these things and stuff will now increase the landscape and stuff again?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's good.
Yeah. No, I think because I think this time around, I think people are looking at it
Countrywide?
Yeah, I think Americans are looking at it as them being the aggressor, and this is everybody's just reacting to what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's not like people are going out of their way to be malicious against Americans. People that got their backs against the walls.
Everybody.
Yeah, and they're pretty much doing what they pretty much have to do to survive.
But the same thing can be said and stuff like during even like that pandemic time and stuff, whatever, right? When the Asian hate thing came up and stuff, because it's kind of like you're just an Asian person, Asian American,
Yeah,
just trying to get to and fro from your day-to-day life. You're going through the same kind of lock-ins that everybody else has been going through during the pandemic, to know for a fact now you're being targeted because somebody said Wuhan is the place for this,
right.
or the Chinese are responsible for why we got to pay so much. Now you're an Asian American. You say you're not even Chinese.
Yeah,
You're looking at stuff, you're minding your business stuff, whatever. You Chinese person, just the reason why. And I was looking, I was like, to the lesser people, when it happened before, I never imagined it would have happened before.
yeah,
But I'm like, it's so weary and scary and stuff. And it's not easy to make people fear monger like,
yeah,
but it's kind of like, what do you do?
yeah. That's yeah. It's a hard one, but in a situation like that, because with the pandemic situation,
Yeah.
like Wuhan was the original boogeyman,
Yeah.
and then there was no boogeyman after that. And the only and even when they found out, okay, Wuhan wasn't the boogeyman, Wuhan was the boogeyman's friend. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they've always been in the mix. They were first hated on,
Yeah.
then that hate just continued on, right? Where in this situation, people just know, no, this is a Trump thing. This is like,
I hope so.
Yeah.
And I hope they stick to rhetoric.
yeah, no,
whatever.
because even with just like the U.S. people that just the everyday citizens that I've been able to see on the news and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and speaking with the tariffs with Canadians, and I'm assuming the idea is similar to how they would have it with the Chinese, is that they looking at us like we don't blame you. I mean, it's like they're looking at us like, shit. If I was in your position, I'd have to do the same thing too, right? So I think when they're
Like,
looking,
what do you mean by that?
looking at it as, well, yeah. If you slap me with tariffs, I'm probably going to turn around and slap you back with tariffs.
Okay,
So it's like I don't blame you for punching back type of deal, right?
Yeah.
I don't expect you to sit there and take punches to your face.
No.
Right? So I think it's in a similar situation. They're looking at everybody, like all the outside countries like that, because the U.S. is just sitting in the center. throwing fists all around, and just punching people.
Is that a Chuck Norris movie? A Steven
It's
Seagal flick?
like that one post with Vladimir's bodyguard, and he's standing in the middle.
No, I see
And
it.
you see that? And it's like all these guys come at him from each side. And he's like, takes out his gun. It's like, in one move. And it's like, how does he do that? Well, nigga, he trained for people coming at him all sideways.
You're not wrong.
U.S. is punching everybody in the face from one angle. And people are like, shit, I'm either going to stand here and get punched in the face. And Americans don't take punches in the face at all. So if you standing there with Americans, sit back like, if that was me, I would have punched back. Oh, they are punching back. Okay.
That's true. That's true. I think most Americans and stuff understand that aspect. Remember, I was talking about homegirl and stuff, whatever, with the whole tariff thing.
Yeah.
And the Crown Royal.
Yeah.
She was saying this thing. She's like, everything in my house is made from China, Doc. Like, we need the Chinese people. I don't blame them for kicking up their tariffs. And when she said it like that, I was like, long as the regular, everyday American person can acknowledge that, and they can acknowledge why you bring my tariffs, I bring my tariffs, we're smooth.
The funny thing is right now, if the shoe was on the other foot, we'd be sitting in darkness right now.
Yes. Yes.
They would have locked the lights on us a long time ago.
Yes, because I even feel like when Trump had the conversation with Zelensky,
Yeah,
and Vance,
yeah,
I felt like because they knew they held the cards of Ukraine in their hands,
right,
this is why they were speaking to them like that.
right.
We held the cards and stuff of America in our hands, and we still didn't speak to America all like ass backwards and
that's
shit
what
like
I'm
that.
saying.
So if it's the other way around and stuff, whatever, like,
Bro,
we'll put you in the dark.
we be sitting in darkness right now, Marv. You know this.
Yeah.
You know this.
We had to make this show on radio airwaves.
It's good.
But a crank radio.
Morse code.
LOL. Ha 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 ha. Fucking. Yo, I wanted to ask you something and stuff, whatever. Hear me. Since we're talking about the Asian stuff. Which race of people play God the most?
Gotta be Caucasian.
Let me tell you something. This last fucking week,
Yeah.
I was like, you guys wanted to blame the Asian folk for like this Wuhan and the COVID and stuff like that. You know these fuckers brought back dire wolves?
Yeah.
You heard about it recently, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, here I am. Let's say I'm almighty powerful God. You know what? I don't think you humans can survive with certain animals. I would like to see you guys thrive during this era.
Yeah.
Let me make some of the dire wolves and certain other animals that might fuck you the fuck up extinct.
Yeah.
T-Rex is included in all the above, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Here are these fuckers now. We brought back the dire wolf by doing this. Who asked for that?
I don't know. I mean, there's many of docile extinct animals. They could have went for first.
The puffin, the auk, like some other shit. The dodo bird.
Give me the dodo bird. That
name was just all. I was like, I looked at this thing and stuff, and I was like, hear me though. And the reason why I always like, play with the whole God aspect and stuff. Ask yourself this. Riddle me this. You ever seen some? I think within Mexico and America, like within those areas and stuff, whatever. Let's say like Mexico and US zone, there's places where people have like former houses or something like in like caves.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like they're now ancient, now ruins.
Right.
And you're looking at stuff like, who the fuck will live here?
Yeah.
Whatever, right? And I'm like, you're playing God. You got to be playing God to say you're gonna, we're gonna set up shop here, rock climbers, were sleeping on the side of rocks. I was like a gust of wind. Like, and I was looking at stuff, I was like, yo, the Caucasians, I feel like they have zero fear, but we always said that the Asian folk have always been up on technology, so were they playing God first?
Right, right, right. They may have been playing first, but white people have been playing it most consistently.
I can agree to that.
They've been playing it most consistently, Marv.
What do you think black people? What do you think black people fear more, God or the law?
The law.
Even like recently with all the TK stuff and everything and stuff like that, right? Like
Yeah.
you've seen that young man, he get 80 years and stuff. I looked at it stuff as where people will fear God a little bit more than the law. Hear
Mhm.
me. I know a dude, he bought that life. He'll take a life. He
Right.
bought that life, right? He won't have no problem sitting in a cell for a body. I think one dude said something, I don't even say no mildly like blaspheming,
Yeah.
but it was more on the level and stuff of like, nah, I'm like, no one they're talking about Samson and Delilah. So they're saying like, what man and stuff, whatever, like he's like, you know how many guys or somebody else say, you know how many brothers I know who have locks and can't even push a damn pillar anywhere and stuff, whatever, and the
Right.
locks are like down to their butt crack.
Right.
He's like, false. Same black dude is like, yo, you're not about to just talk any type of way about the good book. You take lives for fun. They say thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
Black people fear and love some God.
They do. They did. I think they did. I don't think
They did.
Yeah, I don't think
Times changed.
Yeah, I think times has changed.
What changed it?
There's just the generation. I think less people are going to church. Less are
Do you believe so?
Yeah, I think so.
So let's say your personal world, right? Let's
Yeah.
say the people that you might know and stuff. I always feel like you're a more regional kind of guy.
Yeah.
The people that you know, like say you grew up with, let's say, or you know them from like high school.
Yeah.
Are they more religious folk now or no?
I wouldn't say that they're less religious, but I don't think they go to church as much as they probably did when they were younger. I only know I could
Really?
probably say maybe offhand 2 people that I know from high school that I can say go church religiously every Sunday.
For myself, I would say probably about like I can probably count offhand, maybe less than 10.
Less than 10.
Less than 10 that will go to church religiously and stuff like that. But I want to say if we're talking about law or laws of the land type
Yeah.
of thing and stuff, they might act more accordingly and stuff to those things, whatever, right?
Right.
Before participating with certain things, stuff, whatever, with the Lord.
Right. Yeah.
So you like to that point, you have validity and stuff to your statement. It just I find that even I don't know that many people and stuff jumping into like let's say either their faith
Yeah.
as much, but I do know for a fact that like maybe their communities or their tribes of like the ones who like let's say have like kind of made peace with their faith.
Yeah.
Their volumes are a lot louder than people that didn't. So that's why the trajectory just to me seems like it's a lot more of them trying to find God.
Yeah.
To the level, but when we're breaking it down to like a man-to-man or a personal level and stuff, no, like I know a few people and stuff, whatever. Like I have a homeboy and stuff and everything like that, and 2-3 people, but the rest of them, nah.
Yeah.
Like they not churchgoers. They not.
And like I said, the majority of the people who I know, like they grew up in like a church home. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're like their parents
Sundays often.
Sundays.
They're
You know what I mean? They went to Sunday school, they this, that, and the third. So it's something that is just in them. They may have stepped away from it for a little bit a while, but now again, we always talk about you get older, you experience a few things, your lifestyle changes a little bit, you become more humble, you become more of this, and certain things are less important to you in a carnal world now, and you're more
Looking for that afterworld.
yeah, you're more looking to be a better
The
person, right? You're
Right.
more looking to do good things, right? So now you see, hey,
to give back.
right,
First part of your life you earn.
Right.
Sorry, first part of your life you learn.
right.
Second part of your life you earn, and the third part you give back in return.
Right. So now you're in that stage, right? So it's religion may be something more valuable to you. Again, building upon of what you already know, what you already grown up learning. But if you have nothing to fall back on, right? And that's what I'm saying. A lot of these kids, a lot of my people.
You can say that because you have more gray hairs than I do. So
Right.
that's why you. So this is the respect shit we're talking.
Right. So a lot of my people who stopped going to church, their kids didn't go to church.
Bingo.
Right? So when their kids grow up now, their kids are not looking to go to church or even looking to, they probably don't even know nothing from Sunday. They don't know nothing from Sunday school.
Oof. Oof.
Right? We could probably remember one or two things that we've learned from Sunday school. They know nothing from Sunday school. It's 2 or 3 more generations of that. God is not important to them.
God bless that my son goes to a Catholic school.
Yes.
Right? And I think the fact that he goes to a Catholic school, like it's so dope where I'm getting ready to put him to bed and stuff one day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, it's bedtime, man. So maybe because I was raised by a Jamaican woman and stuff, whatever, when they say like the prayers, but you were a kid, they'll say like, instead of gentle Jesus, like Jenko Jesus, meek and mild.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Every Jamaican kid should know that, whatever, right? So like, I'm getting ready to break that down, but I'm like, I'm like, let us say our prayers. I see the man just going to bed and stuff, whatever. He's like, it's bedtime. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I was like, oh shit, my son's more holier than I am. Whatever, right? And I was like, I like that.
They get it, right?
They get it.
They get it.
Because it's into them and stuff from early and everything. I'm not that avid churchgoer.
Yeah.
And I want to say, and I can't speak about like, my son's mom to say if she is to and fro. She does go often because of her mom is into the church.
Right.
But then like, I can't say that that's quite frequent or often and stuff on like her term or her time, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I do know and stuff for myself, like, no, but at least there's some kind of guidance of faith.
Yeah.
And that's even within the school.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And whatever he doesn't get from the school, he's still going to get from you yourself and his mom, because you guys were raised with it.
Right.
You understand? He may not get as much as he would if y'all were full-time church goers, but he's still going to get some aspect of it, some knowledge of it.
Yeah,
what I'm
saying, try to
saying,
have him pray at least.
Where I'm saying there's kids that are my age whose parents didn't take them to church.
Oh, people your age and their parents didn't
take them to church. You understand? And they're not taking their kids to church. So it's that cycle has already begun.
Gotcha.
So I'm just saying now that like
that makes sense why they would fear the laws of the land, because you hear that rhetoric often about like black man driving might be a problem, this person might be a problem, redlining, the laws of the land. You hear so much more and stuff, whatever, compared to you probably in a world where you could remember way back when you see everybody with like a photo of white Jesus on the wall somewhere.
Yeah.
Compared to like I grew up with not seeing too many of those, but they're in a scattered thing. And now you're living in a world, you don't have a Caucasian Jesus on your wall.
Right.
So remember, you went from growing up to seeing that at least one of those things in somebody's house to like, you don't even have that in your house. And you know how many people who don't have that in their house.
Right.
So the children and stuff that are growing up in these households, they don't know shit.
They don't know shit. Not only that, But debauchery 9 times out of 10 in your phone more than the holy word.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It is what it is.
That is
It is what it is, right? So as we move forward, there's gonna be like even think about it. Right now, if you were to take a kid, I won't even say right now, because it's been a trend for a while. If you were to take a 10-year-old, right?
Mhm.
And just say, yo, just break me down, you know what I mean? Break me down Christmas. Jesus may fall in fifth and probably the things that they'll probably tell you about Christmas.
Mm.
Santa gonna be up there. Presents is gonna be up there.
Yeah.
Everything outside of what we've grown up to expect from Christmas is the birth of Jesus. That's not preached. That stuff's not preached, bro.
Let me ask you this. Are we on it? Let's say like there came a time and stuff when you were younger and you probably went around, let's say, either driving or riding with your peoples or like seeing like Christmas lights and stuff in some people's houses.
Yeah.
You recall a time where you see a lot more like Jesus in the manger kind of lights compared to like you don't see those at all anymore?
I don't see it. I can't tell you when I last I seen a manger scene.
Yeah. I only see major scenes like outside particular churches.
Yeah.
With that, like you can say they could probably have a little bread, a little budget for it.
Right.
But I'm like, other than that and stuff, whatever, like, nah. And these used to be at people's houses.
It used to be at people's houses.
Like, you remember like on Jane Street, like somewhere like close to like Falstaff, I believe.
Yeah, you would
like that one house that had Happy New Year and everything.
Yeah, you get the scene. You would get the scene, yeah.
And you don't see, I don't see mangers like that no more.
You don't. The most you'll see is you'll see a Rudolph and you'll see a Santa Claus, or you'll see presents.
If I poll this question, you think they're gonna lie to us again?
They might.
You think say, no, Jesus. It's Jesus. Let's get to the question of the week, man.
All right.
Question of the week. Do we need more anger management or stupidity management?
Oof. Stupidity management.
Why stupidity?
Because I think I'll be less angry at people who are stupid.
I feel anger though.
You feel anger?
Yeah, because I
think it's the stupid people that's making us angry.
I feel like there's lack of compassion.
Yeah.
So I think some people get
we
hot.
hate stupid people.
No,
you're right. There's lack of compassion.
No, because I look at this stuff as like, all right, let's say this. As a father with a child on the spectrum,
right?
Before becoming a father and stuff like that, whatever, right? I would look at some people like before,
yeah,
like on the strip, whatever. You're like, oh, this person, just might be cracked out, might be this, might be that, whatever, right?
Yeah, but that's you being stupid, Marv.
Oh my gosh,
that's you being stupid.
But you are right. You're not correct. What? Correct. We'll say correct.
Yes.
Accountability.
Yes. Accountability, Marv.
I would be stupid and stuff to that aspect and everything like that now. But then to other individuals that might deal with said person,
right?
They're not looking at it and stuff like from like, let's say, you don't know until you know. And a lot of people, smooth.
No.
Keep it a buck.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people use this damn mental illness thing as like a comfort wall, a decoy, a label, and all this type of stuff when they're not clinically diagnosed with shit.
Right.
So I look at it and stuff as like, yo, boss, I don't know your world.
Right.
It's not a level where I'm stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at stuff as like, because I don't know your world, you can't assume I know your world. I'm gonna get a little angry.
At what point you're gonna ask, why is that person behaving like that?
Halfway in. Not at the beginning. If I even see somebody if I'm on the highway, you're driving, you see somebody doing this, the stupidity of them can be like this. The reason why they're swerving lane to lane, I can't reach my Skittles.
Right.
I can't reach my Skittles. So they're swerving to every lane.
Right.
I'm behind them. I'm not gonna be like, I wonder what they're going through. No! They're about to take away from you. Are they stupid?
No, it's stupid.
And then my anger kicks in.
Yes. Yeah, you guys all right to kicking at that point.
But you know what I'm saying? You don't know until you know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that. So Marv's stupid. Let's get to the Ask of the Sons.
That's the Sons.
All right. First Ask the Sons comes from Rye_Coley. Coley. What's an old person thing that you do? Yo,
Make noises when I get up.
ain't that the damn truth? Yo, I heard somebody making some noise yesterday, and I was like, I'm there.
You're there. Yeah.
I'm there. I think another thing is the old man boogie thing that I know that I do is I find my way and stuff of just like, yo, I'm too old for this. Yo, like when I see some shit, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting too old to deal with some sucker shit, some other shit, whatever.
No longer in your wheelhouse.
No,
no.
Far from it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question comes from Billy Rivers. What screams I'm an attention seeker? Wearing a KKK outfit on interview with DJ Academic.
Posing while you're flexing your tippy toe.
Big boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that. You're for sure. There's no reason why you need to pose on your tippy toe. You're seeking attention.
They're just sticking out their foot. They're looking at their feet. Why are you looking at your feet? Like you never seen your feet before? I'm pretty sure you put on shoes before you took the photo. These are quick and easy. I like this. But then my anger kicked in. See, I told you I need anger management. I see this name. Amanutjob has the last question. What phrase instantly causes intense stress in most people?
Explain that to me again.
What?
No, that's the phrase.
I see it.
You see it?
I see it.
You see it?
I see it.
See it?
When you said it, whatever.
Yeah.
I see it.
And you know the funny thing, why I laughed is because I don't continuously ask you stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an annoyance.
Mm-hmm.
So right away you realize, okay, no, you just didn't understand it. Let me explain it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people that are always asking, and as soon as they say that question, you're like, now I gotta break it down for this motherfucker.
You know, like I think my thing is like when I hear people say, "We need to talk."
Yeah,
I was like, my brain starts going through the history of me and that person. Like, the fuck happened, whatever, right? Like if you were to text me something like, "Yo, I need to talk to you about something," I'm like, is he okay? Like, is this life and death?
Yeah.
I don't recall I did something like, yo, I'm just, that increases some stress to me for some damn reason.
So whenever my wife does that to me, I tell her, don't do it. I just say, just whatever we need to talk about,
just talk about it.
Just talk about it. And don't do it, especially to me in the morning.
Yeah, that would fuck you up
and say, I gotta talk about something later on tonight when you get home.
This is the news?
No, hell no. No. Don't start my day like that.
Yeah, no.
Wait till I come home and we'll discuss it.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It used to piss me. I think one day and stuff, I said the news. I remember one day I ordered some Chinese food, whatever, right? And then I turned on the TV to watch some shit. And then it was the 6 o'clock news or some shit like that going on.
Yeah.
And it threw a commercial on for like some expose at 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m., whatever, right? They're like, the Chinese food, they're like, you want to know which Chinese restaurants are safe? Tune in at 10:30 p.m. I don't even want to eat no more food.
Nah.
Why you wait till later? You're already here. It's the same channel. Just drop
This
it
sound
now.
like this is important news. Tell me now this important news that you have for
Let
me.
me know which restaurant and it vexed me to this day. So you're right. I
Yeah.
think that's a good way, like, to bring some issue and stuff. And if you know with a partner,
Yeah.
be like, yo, if you have something, don't be like, oh, I need to talk to you about something and stuff. It'd be like, just go to it and just wait for a timely matter. Use your judgment.
Yeah.
What if they don't have the best idea for like self-awareness and judgment? What would you say to a person? It would be better to text you the issue or text you something you want to talk about?
Or something.
Just find a way to communicate?
Give me some sort of heads up. Because even if I feel like I know just like something, a little bit something, that my mind is at some sort of ease. Not knowing what it is altogether, just like you said, now you start thinking of what you and this person have. What could it possibly be, right? It's like
beads of sweat for no damn reason.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. We are here.
We are here.
Yay, we made it. Let's do this. Where's Associated Sons? Associated Sons this week. Okay. Associated Sons this week says, the things you lose frees up space for the things that you need. Associated Sons. I do believe that let's say a heartbreak. Let's say if you had a heartbreak and stuff, whatever, from a particular person,
right,
and it didn't work out well, and for let's say you had you experienced a heartbreak, you feel like you went through well and everything like that, whatever, but not only you're looking to say that you're trying to fill the void from this with another person, but there's other things you can probably just do and stuff in the process. And I look at it stuff as well. We should always focus on be the best version of ourselves possible.
Correct.
So I look at it stuff as like, yes, you now came out of this relationship and stuff that's broken your heart. There's now, you might have more time for activities or certain things that you wanted to do.
Right.
Like you were in a relationship, the relationship kind of took up time for you to be, I don't know, a better engineer. Now you have the time and stuff to probably do a little bit more research or play with some other programs or probably link up with some peoples and stuff, whatever. And you know, what you even doing this type of thing is now filling the void with things that's helping you to be a better you.
Right.
Not saying another person would help you be a better you, but I think we should always, again, focus on self first before anything else. More internal than external. So say the Sons.
So says the Sons.
Yeah, buddy. Yes, folks, we appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all the above. I might be moving a little bit different and wavy. I guess this next Sunday. Next Sunday and stuff, whatever. Please forgive me. I'm not making excuses for adults. I'm just letting you know in advance. I don't know what these people are trying to do to me. I don't drink like that. And I know people want to pollute my liver.
We'll bring them back in one piece.
Like that,
we'll bring
whatever.
them back in one piece.
I might have to do the show with an IV bag attached to my body.
No, Diddy.
No, Diddy. No. I just need to like get back the mojo. I haven't binge drank or even drink like that, even like when I go out with peoples and stuff, whatever, right? Because depending on the beverage, I might get a little like, okay, maybe 2 might hit my limit.
Yeah.
And then I'm done.
Right.
But I guess for a birthday thing, whatever, they were like, you're not done until we see that you're done. And I was like, my liver. Even when you were saying and stuff yesterday, have you been training your liver? Like, no.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, if it wasn't Easter Sunday, I'd probably try to go buy me a little bottle to kind of train and get my vibe.
You gotta get some training happening.
I need some training.
You gotta get some training.
So this week, I'm going to see if I can try and, like, what do you recommend I can use for training?
It's going to be rough, bro.
Okay, how was it for you when you turned 50? Did they feed you drinks left, right, and center? You had an open bar.
Actually, I actually didn't drink a lot.
When I grew up, I want to be like Smooth.
I actually did not drink a lot. I took the shots whenever they did the shots. But yeah, majority of the night I just spent cruising around and just talking to people and just making sure everybody was good. And then yeah, like I said, just whenever anybody's like, yo, let's have a drink, and then I would have a drink. So and I think they were spaced out enough every time that I would take a drink, so it didn't really hit me.
Gotcha.
And then I was eating all day, so I kind of had like a healthy coated stomach for the alcohol to just sit down on top
So
of.
like prior to the party and stuff like that, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if my black ass can do the same thing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
see if I can probably eat something fairly good. I'm there to fill my gut any damn way.
Yeah,
But I look
yeah.
at it stuff as like, eyes are scared, massa.
But I mean, the telly's not too far from the spot though. Huh?
No.
Yeah,
It's not. But you know, I like to get there with my own faculties.
Yeah.
Then to wake up and stuff and realize like, how did I get here?
You'll be safe. You'll be safe.
No, I'm with my tribe.
Yeah, you'll be
I
safe.
know. I have no faith. I have all the faith in the world that because I'm with my tribe, I'm gonna be safe.
Yeah.
It's just for my own mental purposes. Like, could you imagine this stuff for like?
You need somebody to record the night for you, just to
and make sure it don't go on TMZ.
Just for the parts where you black out. Just videotape.
If I black out, yeah.
Right.
Please.
All right.
And make sure nobody looks up my skirt and hold my hair if I'm gonna yak.
Someone hold your hair.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to everything, man. Yes, so thank you again for listening to the Podical Sons. Like, comment, subscribe, all the above. Keep on taking in those videos and stuff. Shout out. We see you guys on TikTok. We see you guys on YouTube. We're giving you your shout out and your roses from here. And thank you for listening to the Podical Sons. Remember, the difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. Everybody that has their own friggin' reality.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, y'all. Y'all be great.
The Podical Sons with not your average Joseph and Sofa King Marvelous.